Brad, I've played through Mass Effect 3.
You have. I am in awe of you.
Thank you. Because I played through Mass Effect 3?
Well, among many other reasons, sure.
I mean, it was just 30 hours. It's not, you know.
That's way less hours than what I expected.
Yeah. So, you know, this is a story-based game. It's almost ridiculous to go in and load in and show a bunch of single-player stuff.
Right. I mean, that's the value of playing through it yourself.
So we're not going to do that. We'll talk about that because, like I said, I have finished the game, but we're going to show some of the multiplayer stuff. First, though, I'm going to load into the Normandy and show how the multiplayer stuff factors into your single-player game.
All right. Which
is not that much, really, unless you really hate doing side stuff in video games.
I like side stuff, but I like it to be meaningful.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
It's kind of a coin flip. There is some side stuff in Mass Effect 3 that is good. There are some full-on missions, but there are a lot of like weird fetch quests that have you like using kind of the planet scanning equivalent.
Wait, where are we?
This is the Normandy. It has been totally redesigned.
I was going to say, this is not quite
This is not Cerberus's Normandy. You know, this is
Wait a minute.
They made some changes.
Okay.
So your war assets screen. This is kind of where this room you kind of come back to a lot after every mission. This is where you do kind of the equivalent of the talk to the elusive man stuff after every mission in Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
You got a little QEC terminal back there, and you get the little hologram of Admiral Hackett most of the time.
Pretty sweet jacket you got.
Thank you. I went with casual Shep.
Is that built into the game?
That's
or
one of
is
the options. Yeah, that is not an add-on. There is a hoodie that I think is a collector's edition exclusive.
I don't need your exclusive hoodie. Thank you.
So this is after I finished the game here. This is my total military strength was 6901. But you see that there's that effective military strength number, which is a factor of my readiness rating. If you don't play multiplayer, that readiness rating sits at 50%.
Okay.
But at 6901, even 50% of that is still enough to fill up that bar at the bottom.
Okay. Which means you'll get the best ending.
Which means you get the best ending.
Okay.
So and the side stuff. I mean, let's face it. Like I said, it took me 30 hours to finish this game, and I did just about everything you can do, as far as I can tell, and had no trouble at all filling that bar up. I don't know. There's some talk going around saying it's really hard to fill the bar. Like I don't know. I played Paragon, so maybe that made it easier to get allies and that sort of stuff. You can kind of, we could go into some of these things here, and you kind of see, each kind of thing has its own number associated with it. Some of these you find when you're scanning. Some of these you find and update depending on things you do in quests and stuff like that. But getting these numbers up to fill that bar, pretty much trivial.
So let's put that fallacy to rest once and for all. You do not have to play the multiplayer.
You don't
to see the right ending.
Yeah. There's more than enough stuff out there. I mean, unless you just But I imagine even if you were going around pissing people off all the time, you end up building some allies that way too. It's not like the decisions in a lot of cases are more like, if you go with these guys instead of us, if you side with them, then we're not going to help you. And then a few hours later, I guess we're going to help you.
Because if we don't, it's our ass.
So maybe on the Renegade side, it's a little different. I can't say for sure, because I did not do a full Renegade playthrough. But that bar was full for me well before the end of the game. So there was a bunch of side stuff that I did that I didn't even have to do.
Good to know.
So but you kind of want to do the side stuff, and the scanning thing. The thing that they have used to replace the scanning for minerals thing is a lot like the scanning for minerals thing, but stripped down. Like it's clearly a system that if they had built something new, it would have been cool. But instead, they just took what they had and kind of well, maybe we just take out the mineral part, and then you still have to go to the planet and do this. I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know.
Does that mean it's faster, or are you still moving a cursor around the planet all the time?
It's faster because you're not moving around when you're at the planet level scanning. It is you are scanning for a specific object, and the white line is pointing you in a direction.
Oh, okay.
And you're getting it that way.
So it was like the side missions in 2.
Right.
Okay.
There's no random. Yes, it is like the side missions in 2. That is exactly correct.
I bet I'm in a tiny minority of people who am kind of bummed about that.
Well, for me, it's not that the scanning and mineral stuff was better. It's more that it's kind of depressing that they didn't build something new and custom for that stuff, because it feels like this system that was built to do a lot more that they have then just ripped out things that didn't suit their needs. So it just feels like this really shallow system now.
Well, it sounds like it just guides you by the hand straight to the stuff you need.
Absolutely,
like,
yes.
There's no element of discovery.
The element of discovery comes because you're now scanning the system itself, trying to figure out if a planet has something on it. Okay, so multiplayer. It is a 4-player horde mode, wave-based survival style kind of thing. You have your classes here, and then races here. And the races are sort of like your loadout for each class. From a powers perspective, the powers are preset. So if I pick a Drell Adept, he is going to have Reeve, Pull, and Cluster Grenade. That's it. You don't make those changes.
No mixing and matching.
But the mixing and matching comes from you just play as the human if you want that.
Right.
And you level up each class separately, but each race gains XP the same way. So it's not like I don't need to level the Quarian Engineer and the Solarian Engineer separately.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
With you.
So I actually have leveled up here when I was playing the Asari, and you can actually name these characters. My soldier here, I named Nick Danger. I don't know. And then I realized no one ever sees these names other than me. Why does it matter? So then I actually just started typing in Drell Adept into the thing.
So you'd know.
And maybe if I do any more, I might just name them because that's who cares, really. This is my Battlefield 3 soldier, by the way.
I see that.
If you've played Battlefield 3, you will unlock this. You will get this custom soldier. I've seen a lot of these online so far. He's got Carnage, which is fine. You know, it's not that different from Concussive Shot, really. So, I don't know. Soldier doesn't seem like the most interesting class in multiplayer anyway. For me, it's been Asari Adept. That's been my favorite so far. But, so when you level up here, you can go in, and it's going to look real familiar. You know, you got powers, you get points. You spend the points on the powers.
Yeah, this is quite familiar.
I want to do some reaving. So powers 1, 2, 3 are all preset. 4, 5, and 6 are all split like this. So you have to choose one or the other.
Okay, that's a little more in depth than the last game.
But the single players like this.
Okay,
as well.
yeah, so this is straight out of there.
Do I want Reeve to increase my damage protection or better recharge speed? I want to use Reeve more often. That seems like the right move there.
Is there ever any respecking?
I can you hit that Y button to undo upgrade, but I think once I've confirmed here and go back in, yeah, I can no longer reset powers. But I think if I go all the way out to change character, maybe not. I think when you hit level 20, that promote icon lights up, and you can promote them into your percentage points for single player or something. Or I'm not really sure how that stuff works. So in addition to powers, you have weapons, and the weapons stuff is pretty similar to how it is in the single player. Also, you can take weapons with 2 attachments each. The difference is that in multiplayer, you can only take 2 weapon types. And the weight of the weapons, there's now an encumbrance system in this game.
Huh. Also in the campaign?
Also in the campaign.
Wow.
To kind of prevent you from, so you see if I even just pretend like I'm going to take 3 weapons, my power recharge speed starts to go way down. So it's that balance between if you carry lighter weapons, you're going to be able to use your powers more frequently.
Okay.
Or, if I was playing a soldier in the campaign, like, I didn't want to use powers at all because it was just concussive shot and who cares. So I just carried a bunch of guns. As you upgrade the guns, you see that's a Katana 2. You can purchase up to level 5 in the campaign. And each time you do that, there's a weight reduction that comes with that. It's like a damage increase, weight reduction, and stuff like that with the upgrades. You can also upgrade in multiplayer. We'll get into that a little bit. So I have a Shuriken 4. And here's how weapon attachments work. This is also the same as it is in the campaign. So this one, increases rounds per magazine, and this one has 25% chance of not actually taking away from my ammo when I fire a shot. So it's kind of raises the capacity up a little bit. Or I'm sorry, yes, actually that is a capacity upgrade.
Do you do any armor for the multiplayer stuff? Because I know they've built out the armor.
No, I'm sorry, not at all for the multiplayer.
Okay.
No, the armor in the campaign is similar to how it is in Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Each piece will have you can wear full suits, like you can buy a lot of the stuff that was pre-order exclusive or retailer exclusive. Of
course you can.
In Mass Effect 2, it's just lying around in shops in the campaign now. So it's like, you want the collector's armor? It's $50,000, and you're like, no, I don't, because I'd rather piece together armor and get the bonuses that I actually want instead of the kind of hard bonuses that come with those full sets. And then you get some appearance options. This stuff is limited to color right now, but you see this stuff unlocks when you get these Class XP bonus cards that are available in reinforcement packs. So, we will eventually get into a game that we'll actually play.
All right.
I promise you that.
I'm being patient.
But let's talk about the store. So you see I have a credits rating there. I have some currency. And you can use these to purchase 3 levels of packs. And it's 5,000 for the base one, 20,000 for the mid-grade, 60,000 for the high-end. And you see that these are 5 items. And with the Spectre pack, the high-end, you get 1 rare or better, 1 uncommon or better with the mid-level, and a small chance for an uncommon with a recruit pack. For these mid and high tier ones, you can also opt to spend $1 or $2 real money for them.
Great.
Like this.
Oh, I've never been here for one of your frivolous multiplayer real money purchases before, and now I've seen it.
So that was $2 I just spent right there. Okay. 60,000 credits you could probably get in playing about 2 or 3 rounds of the multiplayer.
Okay. So you just saved yourself like what, an hour?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily
time is money, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying that you probably shouldn't buy these.
Yeah.
So some of the items you get here, some of these items. Now this is where it starts to look almost like an iPhone game, or a free-to-play game rather. You
can almost envision your finger swiping these cards past.
Yeah, or like the microtransaction aspect of it. So this metagel, I get 5 metagels here. Notice that it says single-use supply item.
Right.
That means that you get them out of these packs, but they eventually go away. You won't have them anymore.
Right.
They're kind of one-time use. Here's, this applies a shield bonus for 1 mission, and then it's gone. Incendiary rounds, so level 3 incendiary ammo for 1 mission. Again, and most of the packs are like this. That you get 3 of these kind of one-time use items, and then the 4th and 5th are more substantial. In this case, we got an upgrade to our submachine gun heat sink attachment, so that'll raise the thing there. And we got a gun, so we have a new shotgun that we can use. I'm not going to use this. So this whole pack, basically, not so useful for the way that I play the game.
Right.
So it's that's unfortunate. And these rares here can be, you noticed that on the character select screen, some of those class and race combinations were locked. They can be right here.
Really?
This is where you get them.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is the only way you can get them?
As far as I can tell, it's the only way you can get them. But keep in mind, you don't have to spend real money to get these.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a little slot machine thing. More or less, and so now we've got equipment here. We can go in and slot some of this stuff. I haven't really used a lot of this stuff, to be honest. And let's use some of it, I guess.
Well, do you have any indication before you go in of what kind of enemies you're going to face? Because
no, so that's
a shame.
If you create a game, you can set that.
Okay.
But if you're just quick matching, it's not necessarily your choice, and also you get an experience point bonus for starting a game with random enemies.
Okay.
So that you don't know specifically, so that you can't plan ahead.
Well, that's a shame because there's a very specific rock paper scissors kind of balance to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
Well, I mean, if you're playing a character that is overload, if you want to go up against the Geth, you can set that if you like.
Right.
But you won't get as much XP as if you just roll the dice.
Okay.
Let's just load up. I'm never going to use this stuff. Might as well use it for the quick look. How about a level 3 shield bonus? Let's try that. Shields don't last real long in this game.
No.
Especially in the multiplayer. You get these snipers that just take the shield down in 1 hit and take some of your health along with it. You see we have supplies over on the side here. That's all preset stuff. The numbers on the outside of the squares are how many I have overall, and the numbers inside are how many I can take into a battle.
Okay.
So the reason why some of those are 3 is because you can also one of the rare things is an increase in how much metagel you get per
round.
Per round, basically. And you can use those. The metagel in this case is used to revive yourself when you go down and no one can come get you.
Okay.
Op survival packs will restore your health and shields at any time. The missile launcher is a missile launcher. It's just 2 missiles. They'll take out a mech in 1 shot on silver difficulty, as far as I can tell. And thermoclip pack is more ammo in case you are away from one of the ammo resupply points. which is ridiculous because they're everywhere. So those things will always be present since I have them. And of course, weapons, now that I've got this new Geth shotgun, I could go theoretically use the Geth plasma shotgun, but we're not going to do that because shotguns.
Indeed.
Now let's actually play a video game. And while we're doing this, I mean, if you've got any questions about the Mass Effect 3 single player, I'll happily answer.
Yeah.
So here you see you can kind of set, you know, which if you need percentage points in a specific location, you can.
Oh, okay.
You can choose it here. If you want a specific enemy to tailor towards your character, you can choose it here as well. There's also 3 levels of difficulty. We'll just set it to any, and see what we get.
Throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
So the levels we're going to see here are pretty much straight out of the campaign. Is that right?
Well,
Or maybe in a modified fashion.
Maybe vice versa.
Okay.
I might think of it more as that they have gone and used the multiplayer maps in the campaign.
Sort of chicken and egg scenario.
I guess so. Yeah. So you see, my N7 ranking is 35. That means across all my character types, I have accrued 35 levels total. Yes, the multiplayer maps appear in the N7 missions, and they have Shepard go to these areas, and it basically is similar to the multiplayer in that you're just mostly clearing out enemies. In some cases, you're activating an object, and then it's like, you gotta hold out here until the shuttle gets back. And it's like this really combat-focused mission that really just, I feel like it just gets away from the things that make Mass Effect great.
Not much of a story focus in those missions?
No, not really. You know, it's like you get the call from Hackett. He's like, Cerberus is doing something here. You should go there.
And
shoot them all.
Kill 18 mechs.
You know, make sure that, yeah, it's... Well, it's unfortunate because I think this is the level from the demo. So you see here, there's no power wheel or anything like that, or no weapon wheel either. I'm just holding a button to change between my 2 weapons, and my powers are all mapped to the bumpers and the Y button.
Yep. Something about that weapon seems to lack punch.
It is a 3-shot assault rifle that sounds pretty quiet.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
It's the sound of it.
It is not a particularly meaty sounding weapon.
Yeah.
But it does more damage and just has more stability than kind of the default weapon. So that's why I haven't really been using that one since I unlocked this one. So as for the... Oh, so we got a guy down here. Let's see if we can... Oh, he's all the way down there. That's bad. Why am I almost down? Why am I almost down? What happened? Oh, jeez.
This is all going bad. It's all going bad.
That guy died. So if we finish the round, he will come back. All right, so everybody's back up.
Well, great. It looks nice. It seems like they've,
Yeah,
you know,
looks all right.
they've figured out this Unreal Engine pretty well.
So you see, I don't have full health. I did not regain all my health between those 2 rounds.
That's persistent across the whole match until you heal?
You don't heal. Well, yeah, you heal a little bit between rounds, or I could use Metagel or something like that.
Right.
Oh. Get over here for a little bit.
That'll do it. Well,
That's hard melee for this character class.
Yeah.
Kind of the equivalent of the Omni Blade.
okay. How did you find they just added melee in this one? How did that stuff work out for you?
Well, they added hard melee. I mean, they always had like rifle butt melee.
Oh, you're right.
before.
You're right. I guess I just never really used it that much, but
yeah,
they made a big deal out of the Omni Blade attack at least.
It's a
Before it came
really
out.
long animation, and you
Yeah.
can go into it even if you're not aimed at anyone.
Yeah.
And I did not find it particularly useful.
Yeah.
You know, melee was always for husks.
Right.
Melee and shotguns
Yeah.
was
Just
always
like the easy one-hit guys.
yeah. And grenades, likewise, not all that useful. Run around the back way here. Everybody's going down. Oh, hey, hi.
Whoa. What's the thing that's good against shields? I'm trying to remember.
Oh.
It's fire against armor, right?
Yeah, fire will burn armor.
And it's kind of like the overload, like the electrical kind of thing
Yeah.
for shields.
Yeah, I don't have overload. All right, well, that guy's dead. Not being a very great teammate here. Oh. So I can mash this button to keep this thing from draining as quickly. And this guy's just going to execute me.
Oh.
All right, well, we get to see a different map. So there's no second chances here.
Jeez.
If everyone goes out, you're done. You don't restart from this wave. You go right back to the menu. So it's kind of an all or nothing thing. It goes through 10 waves. So some of the waves will have objectives that must be completed, or they count as a failure. Like activating stations around the level and stuff. So you have to run up and hold A on stuff. Or
Are those timed?
yeah, they are. So you'll have like 4 minutes, and you'll get more time every time you complete one of them.
At least you get some XP even if you fail out.
Yeah, you do, and you'll get some galactic readiness out of it as well. Not in this one because we bombed out with the third wave, but let's jump out of there. Yeah.
So you finished the entire single-player game without ever... Well, not that you never touched the multiplayer, but you finished...
I did not touch the multiplayer until
whole
after I
story.
had finished the story.
Right.
Because the servers weren't available,
Right.
so I didn't really have a choice in the matter.
And you didn't feel like anything about the experience was wanting, or like you were missing anything necessarily?
I mean, not because of the multiplayer.
Right.
That's not to say that I didn't find aspects of it wanting.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff notwithstanding.
Yeah. No, I definitely didn't feel like, other than feeling like I was getting robbed by only getting 50% of my number out of that stuff. No. And when you fill up that bar, you get the best ending, as far as I can tell. So let's go back in here, see if we can get a difference. Well, if I can, maybe I should just pick one here. That was Firebase White, so we don't want that one.
It's a lot of fire bases.
6 of them total, right? 1, 2, whoops.
Something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And 2 of them were in Earth Systems Alliance space, so that one's easier to fill, I guess.
I feel like I should stop myself. I have like a zillion questions about the campaign, but probably none of them should be answered because people are just getting this game today.
Right. Well, let's. I mean,
so maybe that stuff's just better left unsaid.
we can talk a little bit about platform differences.
Yeah, I was going to ask like, do you see much of Earth in this one? But like, I don't answer that.
I will say the game is structured very much like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
But instead of going around and picking up crew members and gaining their loyalty, it's about going out to all these different factions and getting them to pledge their fleets to defend Earth.
Okay.
So it has the same kind of point of no return in the story. There's also a point where, I mean, if you're trying to complete every side thing, do it as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
Because there are points in the story that will kind of nullify the previous side quests. Like there are things that happen that kind of prevent you from completing some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's not totally unlike how it was in 2.
Exactly.
If you left that stuff too long, it could come back to haunt you.
Yeah, totally. But it is like there's very much that kind of clear cut, like this is it, this is the point of no return.
Are you sure?
Are you sure you want to embark on this? Because you're not gonna be able to just fly around the galaxy and
better be ready
stuff,
because this mission's even suicider.
So fun Mass Effect 3 drinking game.
Yes.
Drink every time they talk about suicide mission.
Yeah. Is that a new suicide mission, or are they talking about the last one?
When they're talking about the suicide mission from Mass Effect 2.
But apparently it wasn't, because you made it through.
Everyone survived.
Yeah.
In my game, anyway.
But man, that thing was...
I wonder if I should turn these guys off. We're getting a little bit of voice here.
A little bit of cross chatter.
Turn these suckers off. Oh, I gotta turn down fast because we're playing. I'm hitting it.
Come on, Xbox. Wow.
This is really good stuff. Thanks for watching, you guys.
Man.
This is we're having a great time here. Oh, yeah. I'm just I hit the guide button. I just want out now so I can shoot. All right.
So this one's actually on Earth. Did I get that right? Or it's in the Earth systems, or like the Earth territory.
Hell,
Who knows?
Know, man.
Who knows or cares?
Bunch of satellite dishes, dude.
Okay.
Reapers.
Are these are not Geth?
These are Reapers.
Wait. What?
Or Reaper
forces.
Spawn? Yeah.
Okay. Is that, I mean, again, God damn it, I want to ask, but I don't. Do these guys form kind of the backbone of the antagonist forces in this game? Like, are they the primary?
Yep.
Like the kind of Reaper spawned enemies are
there are human forces, Reaper spawn forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the bulk of it.
Fighting like Krogans ever show up? You know, I mean, like the previous games, you kind of
everybody shows up,
okay.
but you know, it's
you fight everybody at some point.
No, you don't necessarily fight everybody.
Because in the past, there were just like there were a bunch of mercenary forces that would just like mix and match all the alien races.
Yeah, you don't really get that too much. I mean, at this point, the lines are pretty clearly delineated as to who's down for your cause and who isn't, or who is never going to be, and thus is straight up your enemy.
The galaxy is in a state of total war.
More or less, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds, yes, that's a good way of putting it. They should put that on the box or something.
Total war.
They should also talk about how much sexier it is.
Yeah.
Ugh. Some pretty lame quotes on the back of the standard edition box.
It
Just
does
put
say
that out there.
doesn't it?
It's really...
Is it sexier?
No.
I mean, I saw what they did to Ashley.
No.
So I guess in a manner of speaking,
I don't even think she's particularly.
Maybe not sexier.
This game is not sexed up in any way.
Well,
I mean, if you want to say that, like, oh, the characters look like they tried to make them hotter or something, they did a visual redesign.
They do look more sexualized in some cases. What? Who is what? They have horns.
Reaper forces, man.
Is he a Turian?
Hey, man, I don't know.
These appear to just be like
ask your codex.
Corrupted humanoids. I have asked the codex.
We have to stand in this area here to upload.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's my guy.
Sort of a capture and hold.
Yeah.
I have actually read the codex. Did you know that Turians are silicon-based life forms?
I did not know that.
And not carbon. That means that they can't eat people food. It's carbon-based food is poisonous to a Turian.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Do they get drunk when they drink milk?
I think they would die.
Oh, well.
Actually.
If you drank enough alcohol, you'd eventually die. You just, shot of milk here.
Sure. Oh.
Some platform differences. Frame rate on the PS3 is not as good as the 360.
That's too bad.
It is all over the place in a kind of shocking way.
Huh.
I mean, the 360 frame rate is not great. I think that's something that you kind of, if you've played enough of the Mass Effect series, you weren't expecting a technical tour de force on that front.
It's never been great, but
PS3 is
rough.
Rough in ways that in spots that this one's not.
Whoa.
And the 360 gets Kinect support.
Did you use it at all beyond
beyond
the due diligence?
I tried it out.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things they've done control-wise here, and I don't think this is in Mass Effect 2, is the back button is mapped to quick save.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So one of the big things reading the Kinect thing, the Kinect guide that Microsoft sent around was like, hey, you can just say quick save. Like, yeah, I could also just hit the back button. Thanks, guys. Don't need to.
Yeah.
Don't need that. I need ammo. So, you know, it's cool that it's in there, and it's kind of a goofy, like it works, but it's never going to be as efficient as just hitting left and right on the D-pad after you've assigned powers to your squad mates. Like I never found a real tactical advantage when using Connect.
Give me an example of a Connect command phrase.
Like Liara, warp.
Okay.
You know, like you say name of person and power you want them to use.
Yeah. And they just use it on whatever you're aiming at?
Whatever you're pointed at. Okay. It's just like if you had warp mapped to left on the D-pad, and you pushed left on the D-pad.
Okay.
You know, it's not.
I don't know.
It is not crucial to the experience.
Yeah.
It is a thing that's in there, and it's
that's fine.
It's well implemented for what it is.
Yeah. And you're perfectly free to ignore it.
Yeah. Yes. That is my recommendation. is just go ahead and ignore it. Neat that they did it.
Yeah, sure.
There's some like technical, like, oh yeah, sure, it's technically cool that you pulled this off, but no, thank you.
But dude, that quick save on the back button, that's
quick
amazing.
Save on the back button, dude.
Why did it take this long? Not even just for this game, but like
every game.
Yeah, any game that has
Skyrim,
any kind of
that?
dude.
What are we doing?
If Skyrim had quick save on the back button, it would be like that. The whole game. I don't even mean the game Skyrim, but like the game in general would be changed.
I think that Mass Effect 3's legacy will be this notion of quick save on the back button.
Like the PC style actual quick save.
Yes.
Like a save that is truly quick.
Yeah.
Because you hit one button. I doubt there's any kind of one button quick load.
Nope.
So it's not quite as good as a PC, but that's still pretty effing fantastic.
Yeah, you know, if you're walking into a situation where you're not sure if you're going to have to be making weird decisions, and you know, it's like, oh, I want to make sure I punch the reporter just right, and all that sort of stuff. You know, you want a quick save before you even start that conversation.
Right. I understand there are multiple reporters in this game.
Yeah, there are all kinds of reporters.
Yeah.
You can have a reporter on your ship.
That embedded.
Embedded.
Yeah.
And you can kind of give interviews to her about, you know, how the war is going, and that'll affect your number. Like basically, like everything you do affects that number, in some way, up or down. You know, if you solve problems in one way, it could go down with one race or one faction and up with another. You know, you end up in situations like that. But it really is, the entire game is just about making sure that number is as high as it goes, or as high as you want it to be.
Does that
before
ever
you start the final confrontation?
Does that ever make this feel like kind of a one-note experience, like that you're just constantly a slave to this single metric?
Well, you know, a lot of the game feels pretty mechanical.
Yeah.
Not just because of that stuff, but also because of kind of how they work in your living crew members. I went in with an imported save that had everyone alive.
Right.
And the game feels like one big coincidence. Like, oh, hey, it's Garrus. What's up, buddy? Oh, I figured if I went to this Turian spot, you would totally turn up.
Never mind that there are 8 billion other Turians here. I just ran into
exactly,
you.
Yeah, you are constantly running into people you have worked with in the past. They just kind of cram them in wherever. It's like, oh, look, it's Legion. Look at that guy.
It's not too dissimilar to the argument I made against this game when we had the big Game of the Year argument about it. Not that I didn't love, or two rather, not this one, but you know what I mean. But it's just like this conflict between like the scale that they are trying to portray and like just the practical realities of having to generate like assets and build out a game that actually matches like the massive scope of like this galaxy spanning adventure.
Yeah, I think you notice that a little bit more in this one, but I think, you know, there's just some tonal stuff that doesn't fit as well in this game, kind of because of what they're trying to do. It's like, you know, Earth is under attack. Like when you leave Earth at the beginning of the game, which they've gone out and said that that's what happens. I don't feel like that's saying too much.
Yeah, I think that was the demo.
It's dire on Earth.
Yeah.
You're looking at Earth going like, oh man, we have got to go get people right now.
Right.
And then you spend a few weeks of in-game time. They do mention like, you've been gone a few weeks and you've done good work. So there's kind of like that reference to how much time has passed. And you've spent that time like hanging out on the Citadel and, you know, talking to your friends and boning and just shopping for stuff and helping friends with petty arguments that then in some weird way gets you a little bit on your galactic readiness meter anyway. And you know, it's this weird thing where it's the way they tie everything back into that number is hokey at times, but also, you know, the pacing's really weird because,
Yeah.
like I said, it's supposed to be this horrible, dire thing, and here you are just kind of hanging out.
Well, especially because the way they built up the power, like the abilities of the Reapers in the last 2 games, like a few weeks makes it sound like that would be enough time for them to eradicate everything.
Yeah.
Like they were basically these like all-powerful beings. And then all of a sudden, like, what, they're just going to kind of hang out and occupy Earth and not really do anything?
Yeah, kind of.
While you go get ready to kill them?
Yeah, I think that's you've surmised how Mass Effect 3 unfolds.
Because, I mean,
well.
the first game, it was one Reaper, right?
Yeah.
It was one Reaper that,
Yeah, it
like,
was,
practically...
Harbinger.
Yeah, like, practically... Or was it Sovereign?
Or Sovereign, yeah.
It was like Saren and Sovereign alone practically took down the entire Citadel in the first game. I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't want to sound too down on this game.
It's weird.
I cannot wait to play this.
Yeah.
But that does sound a little bit off.
That stuff is a little bit off, you know, and those are the things that kind of get in the way, I think, of the rest of the game, which is quite good, you know. It's a game that, you know, it's easy to be invested in this world because of the quality of Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 1 and 2. I mean, 1 had a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
One was a little rough, but it had a lot of good stuff going for it.
I think it's only a little rough in retrospect, also.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
At the time. Oh, can I get to this guy? Oh, not with all these fools here. No, I get him. I got you. But yeah, you know, it's because of the quality of those games and because of the interesting storytelling and this promise of bringing your story along.
Right.
That really raises the stakes for Mass Effect 3 in an almost impossible way.
Yeah.
And, you know, they pull off a lot of things reasonably well, but some of it I couldn't help but find disappointing. Like, there are just aspects of this game that just... I think Mass Effect 2 is a better game. I think the storytelling's better. I think it just feels more natural. From that perspective, the side stuff is frequently more interesting in Mass Effect 2, whereas in 3, it just, you know, like I said, you know, you're literally running around these multiplayer levels for some of these optional missions.
Yeah, that doesn't really sound like something I want to do.
And some of them are just fetch quests of, like, you overhear a guy on the Citadel talking about how he needs something. Like, boy, if we had some power conductors, we could sure do something cool. And you don't talk to him and say, I'll get it. Instead, you just come back where he is constantly repeating that speech over and over again and hand him what he's been griping about.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
And it's like it's like Shepard is the world's weirdest stalker of just, like, overhearing people's conversations going like, I found these for you. You said that you might need them and I got them for you. It's just really crazy.
That sounds super weird. Do you think, I don't know, I don't want to go off on too much of a story-related tangent, especially for a game I haven't even played, but like, do you think the story would have felt more natural or successful if they had not kicked it off with that massive sequence of, you know, invasion and... like, it sounds like that's where the sense of urgency comes from, and then they kind of, like,
yeah, I think that is part of it. But, you know, like, the whole intro sequence with the invasion and kind of you getting back to the Normandy and all that stuff is really just the game's tutorial.
Okay.
You know, the whole Earth sequence at the beginning of the game is really just a tutorial. And it's not until you kind of get off of Earth and get to your next destination that it kind of jumps off as a proper game.
I just wonder if they felt an impetus to start the show with, you know, a big showstopper. You know, like, it sounds like it's a big over the top sequence.
I mean, yeah, it's not all that over the top. I don't know. I don't know. Tonally, it is over the top.
Yeah.
You know, tonally, it is Earth under attack, and oh man, oh no, what are we going to do?
Right.
But it's the look of what happens. Like, it is not a visual. It's not a very flashy sequence in the grand scheme of things. And there really isn't a lot. I mean, you know, there are spots in the game where you're facing off against Reapers, and they showed, you know, a lot of turret sequences and stuff like that over the course of them promoting the game, and, you know, kind of where you're fighting Reapers and orbital bombardments and stuff. And it's that stuff's interesting looking. It's cool, but I feel like it never really, even that never really quite conveys a true scope of like what's happening. There's some stuff. There's some big crazy stuff that does happen, and it looks good. But not that huge. doesn't go out with quite as big of a bang as maybe I would have hoped.
It might be a little premature to say this since I haven't played the game yet, but I'm real curious to see what happens with DLC for this, because they put out some real elaborate DLC for the second game.
They did,
like Shadow Broker and Overlord. Like those were very involved and like well produced.
Yeah,
like kind of episodic pieces of content.
So after you finish the game, they drop you back in to the Normandy right before the point of no return.
Okay.
In the story.
So you can do it again if you want.
And let you do it again if you want, or that would be a point where if they have DLC, you'll have that save.
Oh, okay.
And there's a post-credit thing that is set up mostly to justify the existence of DLC from a narrative perspective.
Interesting.
That is really hokey.
Okay.
In a way that kind of, well, whatever. I'm being dramatic, but if you take your Mass Effect extremely seriously, it's the sort of thing you can look at and go like, wow, that really undoes all of the entire trilogy.
Oh,
like this one little kind of one-off thing that you would just intended as a throwaway thing.
Yeah.
If you were to take that too seriously, there'll be someone out there that goes like, wow, you totally just ruined all of Mass Effect. Thanks.
God, dude, that sounds dire. I really want to know what it is.
Some of it just seems careless.
Yeah.
And not really, and not done with respect to the universe that they have built, and it's weird. I still think it's a pretty sharp game in a lot of ways, and like I said in the review, like I'll take a kind of somewhat lackluster Mass Effect game over most other things at this point.
Sure.
Because I've become so invested in this story that it is still very much worth it to see these characters one more time and kind of see how this tale ends. But yeah, man.
It's just, it's changed so much from that first game to this one.
Yeah.
Just like the tone,
and
the tone of it.
A lot of people are real, like I said, I think the people who find that end sequence dire are the people that have been out there all along looking at spoilers from the leaked beta and all this other stuff and trying to pretend like it's the end of the fucking world.
Yeah.
And those people are out of their minds.
Yeah.
But after playing the game, I kind of see moments where I could think like, oh, I bet those people will totally feel like that they were right all along and all this stuff. And that's a little ridiculous. Also, it's kind of a bummer that there's anything in this game that you could take as at that level.
Right.
Because it's kind of, it's stuff that should have been handled better, that could have been handled better, I think. Stuff that they have done better in the past. Like, this is not BioWare's best.
Yeah. You know what they've done better in the past?
What's that?
Include film grain.
Yeah.
Why is there no film grain?
Why is the film?
Why did they take it out?
I don't know.
That was one of my favorite things about this whole series.
Yeah, I think it totally. Yeah,
like,
it was one of those things. Like,
let me tell you.
Setting the stage.
Let me tell you when the first Mass Effect came out, what I loved about it. Film grain. Those crazy-looking blue horizontal lens flares.
Yeah.
And the kind of faux Vangelis soundtrack.
Right.
Like those were the things.
You get
everything else about it was great.
You get plenty of horizontal lens flare in this game.
And the music is comparable.
Yeah.
Well,
as soon as you go to the Galaxy map, it is in fact just the same music.
That
again.
If they had changed that, I would not play this game. I tell you that with confidence.
I think I would have liked to see them do more with it.
I can't live without that music, man. It is integral to the experience.
It's great, man. Remix it. Do something with it.
Maybe. I don't know. Why mess with perfection, man?
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's
just the film grain though. In 2, I remember turning it off at one point just to see what it was like.
Right, and going
thinking,
ugh.
This does not look as good. Like it was covering up some stuff.
Yeah.
But also it was just adding kind of a stylistic flair.
Definitely.
That I'm kind of missing here. It's just a big question of why. Why would they do it?
Last one.
Oh, okay.
You weren't kidding. These rounds could go on.
Yeah. I need ammo. I was trying to find ammo, and I don't know where the ammo is in this mission because I've only done this map like twice before. There we go.
So if a person were to approach this game purely as a single-player game, just pretend that there's no multiplayer.
Yeah. Absolutely viable,
totally valid?
possible, completely valid.
Okay.
A satisfying way to play the game. Like you're not going to feel like you missed anything by skipping the multiplayer. You might feel like you missed something because there isn't as much in it.
Okay.
Or it feels like there isn't much in it. I'm not going to sit here and count like well, there were this number of missions here and this
Right.
number of things here and this number of hidden objects. You know, it's not about that. It's that after the 30 hours, I said to myself, wow, is that it? Did I miss a bunch? And then realized that my bar had been full for most of the game and kind of, it was one of the things where someone at EA was looking for people to talk to because he had finished the game. And after I finished it, I'll talk about the ending with some of the other reviewers and stuff and some of these other people. And when I mentioned my number to him, he kind of said like, yeah, that sounds like a fairly completionist playthrough. I'm like, oh, damn it, really? Because it just seems like there should be more in the game.
Right.
How long did it take you to finish Mass Effect 2? Because I don't have that number anymore because I played a bunch of DLC.
Right.
But my Mass Effect 2 number for playing everything but the Arrival was about 52 hours.
Okay. I very distinctly remember being right at 45 when I finished that game, just the base game.
Yeah.
I did fucking everything that I could possibly do, down to every single dialogue option on every character I could find to talk to. Like, all of it. And I hit
felt
45.
like I was doing that
Yeah.
in this game. That was how I played this game. Was
Yeah.
I wanted every single bit I could get.
Soak it all up, right?
It felt like there wasn't enough.
That's a little disappointing.
All right, I'm getting lit up back here. I gotta.
When you are talking to people, though, does it feel like the same game? Like you still have a lot of different conversation choices? Are you still making
Yeah, for the
decisions?
most part, it seems like that there are more cases of, especially on the ship and stuff. Like you'll go talk to somebody, and it'll just be a straight up, like, it won't go into a cinematic angle or anything. They'll just start talking, and you can talk back and forth for a little bit
Right.
from that perspective, and it won't be like an interactive dialogue wheel sort of situation. Seems like there's a little bit more of that in this one. It doesn't really, sorry, it doesn't really feel too out of place. Or rather, like, you know, I didn't feel like decisions were being made for me or anything
Right.
like that in those conversations. It was more like just, you know, James wants to talk down in the armory, and you go down and talk to him, and then you just hit A, and it's not an actual sequence. It's just he just talks to you for a little bit, and you go like, all right, well, that's cool, thanks.
Uh-oh.
See, I could have popped a Metagel there. I probably should have, but
You've had enough.
Yeah,
Well,
kinda.
one of your other guys also just bled out.
yeah, we'll see if this guy makes it. I don't want to quit because I want to get all that XP and stuff.
Those banshees
They're a pain in the ass.
seem like a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they can be a lot of trouble.
So no like weapons that you can only get in the campaign by playing multiplayer. No, nothing like that.
No
all?
crossover
Okay.
at all.
Because I mean, this looks fine. Like there's nothing wrong with this. But
Yeah,
like, you know,
I think my problem with this is I don't think especially highly of Mass Effect as a shooter.
Right.
Like the shooting has always been competent.
it's fine. But this game brings a lot more to the table than just shooting.
Right.
But there are games who do just shooting better than this one.
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
And I don't know. Maybe I'm some kind of weird Mass Effect purist, but I just kind of want to play this as an RPG. And
Well, you know,
forget about the Horde stuff.
Yeah, and you can do that. I mean, I think that given the task of come up with a multiplayer mode for a Mass Effect game, I think the people that worked on this probably did a pretty good job.
Sure.
This is not bad. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's superfluous. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be there, and like it's probably for the best that it doesn't need to be there for people that are purists like that. It's hard to introduce that in the third installment of a franchise. Like,
Right.
oh, by the way, now you got to do this whole other thing. In fact, I mean, they've offered more ways to play the game this time around. When you start a new game, if you import a character, you will not get this option. But when you start a new game, you have the option to basically play it like a shooter with a story, and where you don't have any impact over the choices. Like all the cinematic stuff just plays out as cutscenes, and you don't make the choices. Like it just has a canonical, like here's how it's going to go, and you just watch it unfold, and you focus on the combat.
That sounds like a bummer.
That is not the way that I would want to play this game.
I wouldn't either.
But it is an option. There's also narrative mode, which takes the combat and makes it so painfully simple that anyone could probably get through it. So if you are interested in just seeing the story and just making those choices, you can play that way as well. I think that offering those extremes is fine. You know, they want more people to play games like this.
Yeah.
And that's not an evil thing. And I don't really feel like that that had any impact on how this game was made. I mean, like I said, if you import a character, you never see that at all.
Right.
Because it just assumes, I mean, you can actually change it in the options later on if you like, but I imagine it just assumes that, like, you've played Mass Effect, you probably want to continue playing it like Mass Effect. So here's one of our base level packs that I used with credits that I earned in that last match as opposed to actual dollars. And like I said, you get 3 one-use items. Then over here we get a shotgun upgrade, which I don't really use shotguns. And Avenger 4. And I might switch off that
the little pop gun.
That little pop gun I got there, yeah, in favor of going back to that. Let's compare them. So easy lines to let you know. So not as much damage, not as accurate, but capacity and fire rate. That's close in damage. It's probably. Do I have any other? I have a scope mod. I actually feel like I'm less accurate using the scope, so I never use them. I'm not trying to snipe with my assault rifle, so no point put that on there. Yeah, let's go back to the Avenger. And then we got some more equipment here. You know, let's for kicks, just to give people kind of a sense of what's in these things. Let's spend another $1.
All right.
It's for you, the folks at home, so that you hopefully don't do this.
I'll allow it.
I've spent about. I was kind of curious as to what came out of these packs, so I ended up probably spending about $12 on packs just to see what came out of them, and they weren't super great every time.
I think it's funny that there's 108K download every time you do that.
Yeah, it's weird. You can actually close out of it before that's downloaded, and it still takes you to the purchase.
Weird.
That's all server side. So yeah, more of this stuff. Here we go. Submachine gun upgrade. That's nice. Shotgun blade attachment. Don't care. And a shotgun. Don't care. So that's good though. I actually use that weapon, so that's nice. And there's an achievement for getting a weapon up to level 10. So, and you can't get weapons past level 5 in the campaign. That's the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
All right.
I don't know if there's really too much more to say here. You know, so we've moved the percentages up slightly, and there's an achievement for getting them all up to 100%. But as far as I can tell, even when you get that number all the way up, it's still going to say your odds against the Reapers are even when your meter is full. It's never going to say, like, you're whipping these fools' asses. Unless maybe if you get it all the way to the 100, it says something like that. But every indication I've gotten so far is that that's not really the case.
Right.
So thanks, Brad. You got any other questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything else to cover here.
I know we said we weren't going to look at any story stuff, but how can we have a Mass Effect quick look without talking to somebody?
Okay.
Just somebody.
All right. So
even if it's on the Normandy, it doesn't have to be anything.
I'll just load up a random save from
super
fairly
dramatic.
early on, and we'll see what's there.
That's fine.
So, folks at home, if you don't want to see this stuff,
Yeah, like close your eyes.
consider yourself warned, I guess.
Probably don't even look at save game names.
Yeah, probably don't even look at this stuff.
I'm not gonna. I'm looking away.
Most of these are on the
Just make it on the ship, whatever.
save 3, 4 hours in. What's this going to be? Just past. Sure. Let's see what's here.
Kind of curious. I mean, maybe not in this quick look, but I really want to see what the Normandy looks like, top to bottom now.
It's a little different.
It looked a lot different. I mean, it's obviously serving the same purpose.
The Citadel looks completely different.
Yeah. I was a little concerned. I mean, a lot of these are kind of recurring locations. I was like, are they just going to use the same?
You're left with the impression that the Citadel must be big because every game they're showing you different stuff.
Sure. Well, that's cool. Okay, this is looking a little more. Wait a minute. What? Specialist who? Where's Kelly? Jeff, where's Kelly?
Who's Kelly? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
What the fuck is Kelly?
God. There's no Kelly.
I think we can just end this now.
There's no Kelly. So there might be straight up spoilers up here. I don't remember where we're at in this part of the game. I'm not sure what's where at this point.
So this stuff this does look very familiar.
Yeah.
All this, the cockpit and this kind of. Oh yeah, right, him.
Told you there were going to be spoilers in this.
Yeah, okay. Great. Characters look a little better to me somehow. Like Joker just Something about the modeling maybe looks a little more detailed, or I don't know what the. It's still movement's still a little janky.
I think Joker is always something about his face has always looked a little weird.
Sure.
What?
Huh.
So that was one of the other things that people were getting all up in arms
Yeah,
about. I will
yep.
say that part of the game, totally fine.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal at all.
All right, fine. Fine. You know what? Right up there with the film grain and the music and lens flares was running by that thing and having to change from blue to orange and back.
Yeah.
Like going from Normandy schematic to like galaxy map.
This girl here occasionally just does air quotes.
Uh-huh.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So back here is the war room.
Seems like a good guy. He'll get his people moving in the right direction.
And it stops you here every single time you walk one way or the other, as if to say, hang on, we gotta load that.
Yeah. Well, at least they're disguising it this time instead of just throwing you to a load screen.
Yeah. Hang on, we're loading that. I should point out that this is not installed to the Xbox 360.
This is off the disc.
So it's a 2-disc game. You
Yeah.
still have to do the disc swaps even if you've installed. And at the front of the game, you swap a lot.
Huh.
It seemed
That's
like the
weird.
side missions were on disc 2 and everything else was on disc 1. It was weird. But then it eventually settled down and just threw me on disc 2 for most of the rest of the game until I got to the end. And then when you kind of pass that point of no return, it says, put in disc 1 and let's do this.
You don't sound very optimistic. We expect the Krogan will be joining us too. I see. Well, then you've got your hands full, Commander. Was there something else you needed to discuss?
Jeff, forget any and all naysaying that may have occurred during this quick look.
Keep me posted. Hack it out.
That was a hell of a dialogue wheel. I
Yep.
am fully on board with this. Can't fucking wait to play it.
So kind of see what our war terminal is. So at this point, I'm 620, and you see the gray part of the bar that is not that I'm not getting because my readiness is only 75%. And then I can hit the war map here and kind of bring this stuff up in game if you want.
Okay.
Which this is just saying here's where you are in multiplayer. That's nothing I can impact here. If you play bad, your scars will come back.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
There's another like kind of upgrade. So there's an upgrade. Let's run out of here. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because
Wrong
even
way.
if you played bad, you couldn't. There was a way to erase those
Yeah,
in the last game.
this has that as well. If you want to get rid of it.
Although you had to sink a lot of resources into it.
For this, it's just a decision between whether you want better metagel or no scars.
Huh.
There we go.
Oh, I'm so curious about all
So if you
this
click
stuff.
in either stick, you get this map.
Oh, wow.
This happens pretty much wherever you are.
Okay.
And you can kind of go through the floors. Shows you where people are.
That's nicely designed. That looks pretty helpful.
In lieu of there being an arrow or like a quest marker or quest log, a better quest log or something like that, this works well enough to kind of get you around.
You know what? Last order of business.
Huh.
Let's go talk to James.
All right.
I was a massive James Vega skeptic. You seem to be sold.
James is all right.
I just want to, sell me. Prove to me that this guy.
One of the big things that James likes to do is give nicknames to everyone around him.
Yeah.
He calls you Loco.
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking about that stuff, I was like, all right, I can see the role that this guy would fill on your crew.
So down here is where you can kind of modify weapons before you go into any mission. But here's where you can purchase weapon upgrades. So instead of sinking resources into going from Scimitar 1 to Scimitar 2, you just straight up spend money.
Okay.
And then any shop you visited on the Citadel shows up here. There's a 10% markup when you buy it on the ship instead of going there directly to buy it. But it is an option. Like I said, Inferno armor, stuff like that kind of shows up.
Look at that.
Rebuild your model collection. Expensive guns. And you can customize your armor as well as your casual wear.
What else we got here? I like the jacket. But
Yeah, I like the jacket.
What else do you have? What else is in his ensemble?
I bought the track jacket.
Let me see it.
No, I mean in real life.
Oh, right.
It's a well-made item.
Oh God, it's still loading. I was wondering why you were just sitting there.
Install this to the disk.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's my advice.
Unless you got that 20 gig hard drive.
It's about 14 gigs.
I guess both discs would not fit if you've still got the original hard drive.
Yeah.
That's a shame. You know what? It's really too bad that they didn't bother to solve the disk swap problem with installs in this game.
It's pretty.
They still haven't done it. Just
install both and then
make it
let
so
me
you
leave disk 1 in.
Yeah, make it so you always have to have disk 1 in.
Just make it so disk 2 doesn't boot.
Yeah,
It only serves as a data disk.
That would have been great.
So that you can't, give a disk to each person.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
I don't know if the multiplayer is on both disks. I've only tried it on disk 1. I wonder if you could. Well, there's an online pass, so I guess you'd have to theoretically spend another $10, which I'm sure they would be more than happy. All right.
Still loading.
This is.
Aha.
Oh, I pushed down. This is just getting worse now because it's trying to load up his armor.
Oh, dude.
But you can kind of see. Oh, jeez.
No, you can't.
If I go to show info here. Oh, just so armor has different specs to it: shield, regen, speed, health, that sort of stuff, melee damage bonus, stuff like that. So you kind of find armor pieces or buy armor pieces, and you kind of piece together armor that way if you like. And we're just not going to wait for that to load because that's here's casual 4 here, I guess.
All right.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, that's not great. Is there a hide helmet option this time?
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes. There is.
Right. That was desperately needed.
Where is it?
I'll take your word for it.
Too late. We're already here. Yeah. So for squad mates and
oh wow, man,
often conversations.
That is robust helmet control.
Yeah.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah. They've solved that problem.
Yeah.
So here's James. We'll see what he has to say. I don't know what he'll say at this point.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr., correct?
Yeah. He talks about it eventually.
Oh, I'm so curious about the way that 2 ended and then what happens at the beginning of this in terms of how Cerberus is still involved and where your loyalties are.
All that is addressed very early on.
And how that major choice you made at the end of 2 plays into that. But I'm not going to ask. All will become clear, I suppose. Is there any reference at all to Shepard being half a robot? Or do they just totally ignore that?
Yeah. Yes. I'll leave it at that.
Oh. Okay.
There's another dude down here. Where's he at? Is he over here? Or is he just... Should be down here somewhere.
You know how you can tell in games like this, or any kind of space opera or space fantasy, when you are in the state of total war? They turn all the lights on your spaceship down.
Yeah.
Everything looks real dark here.
Yep.
I remember the Normandy being a lot better lit than this. That's a
Run.
kind of a weird bow-legged run animation. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Should we go talk to Garrus?
Yeah, sure.
Somebody?
Yeah. Let's go out with an old friend. Or something. Where do you think this series is going? What happens to Mass Effect, the property, after this?
I think they have to come up with a new set of characters, or some new characters.
Yeah.
And a new setting, a new time, maybe.
Yeah. New kind of game?
Sure.
Did they just make another RPG? Who knows?
I think they could get a different type of game. I won't get too close to this wall here,
Okay.
but the text on that wall is the names of people who are dead.
Oh.
and it fills up. This list could be a lot longer depending on how you import.
Oh, that's cool. To see some.
And over the course of the story, if people do die along the way, they go on the wall. So here's one of the other upgrade terminals here. I have shields +5 right now, but you'll find things along the way. And they'll always have an option. So it'll be like, do you want to get rid of scars permanently or get better metagel? Do you want 5% damage increase or 5% power recharge or stuff like that? Medical still looks largely the same.
Old Dr. Chalk was still kicking it over there. Maybe not. Okay, never mind.
I don't know, we told people we were going to spoil stuff. So
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Theoretically, you run into her, and I think you could probably say no.
If I remember, she was dead in the end of my 2.
Oh man, I don't know what you'll do then.
Along with Kelly, I was going to go back and replay that stuff before my save game ate it.
It's kind of a recurring theme. That's all for now, Brad.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I will play this game.
Yeah, I think that anyone with a real attachment to Mass Effect absolutely should.
Yeah.
I don't know that a new player would get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I could see jumping in on the 3rd act being maybe a little confusing.
Well, it's funny because when you just create a new character, like one of the options is, hey, how many people died? And it's like this weird halfway point between like maybe you should have just given people like an advanced options menu that lets you
like how are you supposed to even answer that if you don't
that stuff? Yeah,
you don't know who they
the
are.
choices are numerous, Ashley, or Caden.
Huh.
So the Caden Ashley thing makes sense. That's a choice, but numerous is not enough information.
Yeah,
what is that?
What the hell does that even mean?
I don't know.
I see that they're getting their next generation on with the poker table over there.
Yeah, poker table.
Here's
bar.
this little kind of poor man's 10 forward.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's some serious flair there.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm into that for sure. Yeah, especially with what they did on the PS3 version of Mass Effect 2. With the kind of
that kind of motion comic
stuff.
Thing,
like it's a shame they didn't put something in there like that for everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's about it. I'll leave you with one little last piece of information.
Yes. Uh-oh.
That I thought was pretty clever.
Going up to the captain's abode.
I've not actually made this purchase because I spent my credits on guns.
Okay.
You can buy a VI to take care of your fish. Wow. To keep them alive.
Well, that's what Kelly did in the.
Yeah. Well. Not an option.
Huh. Okay.
I ain't got no fish, but.
Yeah. This is basically the same. Maybe it looks a little more spacious.
Yeah, you can configure armor here as well.
I'm nodding my head.
All right.
Here, slowly.
Let's call it. That's Mass Effect 3. It is in stores now. Review is up on the site if you want to read that. And that's Commander Shepard.
That's it from space.
That's it from space. That's it from fish. No fish. Fish costs money. Forget it.